What is happening, everyone? Hope everyone is well. Sorry for that technical a little bit at the beginning with a countdown and obviously the intro. I hope everyone is well. Really do appreciate you tuning in. I already did a video earlier, but I thought obviously because the England squad was announced, it's only right that we touch on that. No real surprises. But first of all, if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Again, a live stream. I think the lives are a little bit more better when it comes to interacting with everyone. And as you've guessed by the banner and the title of the video, we are going to go and have a few discussions on the England squad that has been announced for the Euros. As we know, the Euros was delayed due to the COVID, etc. And no real surprises for me when it comes to naming the squad. There's always debate with people's opinions. Some players should be in, whether they're better on form, whether they're not, whether they fit into a certain style of play or a puzzle. As we know, England are never great when it comes to competitions. We did have a good competition last time out with Gareth Southgate, but it was quite an easy route to the semi-final. And unfortunately, the first time that we played a decent team, we lost. So the squad is, I'm going to bring that up for you. So let me share this squad for you. You've probably already seen the squad. Obviously, like you say, it's been out earlier today. However, here we are when it comes to the squad. If you've been at work or you've not quite caught up with the squad. So Pickford, as we all expected. Henderson again. Johnson, Ramsdale. New for Johnson. The defenders are Walker, as expected. Trippier is in there again. Trent Alexander-Arnold has been called back in, and rightly so. It was crazy that he was not in the last squad. Reece James, Stones, Godfrey, who is his first appearance, done really well for Everton this year. So he's been called up for his versatility, which is good news for him. Ben White, another new addition. We will get to him in a moment. Connor Cody, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Luke Shaw, Ben Chilwell. Then we go into the midfielders. Rice, as expected. Henderson, as expected. Kelvin Phillips, James Ward-Prowse, the young superstar, Jude Bellingham, Mason Mount, Jesse Lingard. Then our attacking players are Foden, Raheem Sterling, Sancho, Jack Grealish, Saka, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, Harry Kane, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and finally, Ollie Watkins. Now, a few people that I've spoken to away from YouTube today, and some of my colleagues or some of my friends that are on YouTube as well, they did very similar to what we're going to speak about in relation to who you think should have obviously been in the squad. Now, for me, there's not a lot of surprises in there. Some would say obviously, no Maddison, which a lot of people would say, well, why there's no Maddison? He's not been the greatest in form and playing, and off-field antics have kind of cost him his place in Leicester's squad. And we also have very similar players in the squad. You have Jack Grealish, who plays a 10 or out wide. You have Foden, who can play in there. You have Mason Mount, who can play in there. So you don't really need another additional player who could be seen as a luxury player when it comes to the England squad. So I can understand why Maddison is not in there. And finally, without sounding too harsh, Eric Dyer is not in the squad, and rightly so. He was in the last squad, and a lot of people were surprised why he was in that. And he's not in this one. Which is good, because it gives other people an opportunity who I think deserve the chance to be in the squad. Now, for me, a lot of people have spoken about, different centre forwards, Danny Ings not being involved, and Ollie Watkins is. Would you have took Danny Ings over Ollie Watkins? Me personally, I would have. I don't think Ollie Watkins should be in the England squad, but that's my opinion. Other players who I think should have been in with a shout was definitely Tomori, who's at AC Milan from Chelsea. He's been absolutely solid for AC Milan, and he should be in there ahead of the likes of Connor Cody and Ben White, in my opinion. He's solid. He's playing in the Italian league. They've been third. AC Milan, young, English, solid, quick, good on the ball centre half. So for me, he should have been in the head of White and Connor Cody. I don't understand that. But then there again, it's England. The football politics are always involved. You looked at the likes of Trent was out the last squad, and Trippier was in it. And Trippier shouldn't be nowhere near it. I mean, how Trippier is ahead of Wan-Bissaka, I do not know. It surprises me. So, Wan-Bissaka should be in there. I think Tomori should be in there over a couple of players who are bog standard and average players. But that's the squad. Obviously, it has to be trimmed down. Jesse Lingard is back in, and rightly so, in my opinion. He deserves to be in there. But there are going to be some players that get cut from this squad. We have 3 teenagers. The unbelievable, for me, one of the best talents we've seen in a long, long time. Jude Bellingham is only 17. We've then got Saka, who's 19, and Greenwood, who's 19. And Greenwood's back in. The quality that Greenwood has, for me, is outstanding. He plays like a mature centre forward, and Jude Bellingham. But he's got to trim this squad, and you're going to have to look at the areas where he's going to trim this squad. Real Captain, big up, bro. Big up. Really do appreciate you popping in. Thanks for popping in to get my thoughts on the England squad. Like you said, I've named the England squad already. What do you think? What would you have changed? I would have definitely put Tomori in there, and I would have definitely have got rid of Cody or White, and I would have got rid of Trippier and had Wan-Bissaka in there as well. Obviously, the Maddison thing, but we do have players already who can play in that type of role. We don't have anyone like Jude Bellingham. We don't have anyone like Phil Foden. These are talents that, you just don't come by. No worries. And in any other country, Jude Bellingham and Foden are first on the list. Let's be honest. Well, depending on what country, but they're in the squad. There's no debate around them. Obviously, you've got Henderson and you've got Declan Rice, so he's probably thinking a little bit more defensive. And Kelvin Phillips is in there for his passing ability. But he thinks he's got an unbelievable squad, and Gareth Southgate states that he has a squad that can win this competition. Albeit it's very, very inexperienced. Only a few have got maybe 10 or more international caps. So it's a very, very inexperienced. That can work for you. It can also work against you. The reason it can work for you is because a lot of these kids that come in, they have no fear. They're not bothered about they are bothered about the reputation, but they don't take the pressure on what it is to play for England. They just play without a fear. On the flip side, when it comes to managing a game, when it comes to seeing the game out, important times in the competition, the inexperience can go against you, and that could be where we come unstuck. But talent-wise, it's a very, very talented squad from the young ones. Kyle Walker, as we know, solid as ever. He's going to be in, but I wouldn't have Trippier. I definitely would have brought Wan-Bissaka in, and I wouldn't have had Connor Cody or White, and I would have had Tomori in. Now, when it comes to what 11 he is going to pick, that is going to be a big problem for any manager. We've always had this issue that we can't play Lampard and we can't play Gerrard, or we can't play Scholes and we can't play Gerrard, or we can't play Shearer and we can't play Andy Cole and all this stuff. And it all boils down to who fits into the puzzle. He's going to go 4-3-3, you would imagine, but being England, as defensive as ever, sometimes he might go for a 5 if you don't want to get broken down, but you just invite pressure. So it's going to be very interesting who he goes for. Being Gareth Southgate and knowing the way that he plays, as we've all seen it can be very defensive at time. And that's why I'm not surprised to see kind of 3 holding midfielders in there, which is obviously Henderson, Rice, and Kelvin Phillips. They're all kind of holding midfielders. They're not really going to make third-man run-ins and cause problems like your Mounts, like your Fodens, and like Jude Bellingham. Foden will probably be on your attacking side, on the left coming across, or probably on your right, depending if he decides to go for a solid you come and break us down team. That's what England tend to do. Or will he go and express himself? And with these players, please don't hold them back and let them express themselves. Real Captain has stated, I'd like Mount at 8 or Bellingham. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get to my team or where I think Mount should play. So I'll keep that one in the locker for you. But is there, from your point of view, people in the chat, who would have you brought in? Who would you've left out? There's always debate. There's always debate that Sancho should be starting. My opinion, I'm not sure Sancho should be starting. He plays in the probably the best, one of the best teams in the German league, which is very different from the Premier League. We all know that. And also we get to that debate is some people were shouting for Sancho over Foden, and then you have to look at it. You know, Man City let one go because they didn't see the future of how good his future could have been, and they kept the other knowing that his future could be unbelievable. So, you know, you're not one to really argue with the likes of Man City at times, even though clubs do get it wrong. We've seen Chelsea with Salah and Kevin De Bruyne by getting talent wrong at times. So that's what I think when it comes to the England squad. I'm going to bring my England squad up. We might as well do it. Well, my 11 that I would play, bear in mind, I am very positive. I am very, I like players to express themselves. And I am defensive because you have to be at times, but I prefer to be offensive before defensive. So real captain has obviously stated in again, let's have a look. Do you think it's more difficult to get in a team if you don't play in the Premier League? Yes, unless there's a lot of hype behind you. Now, for example, Tomori, no one's even mentioned him. And if you see him, he's been outstanding in Italy, which is a tough league. Do not get it twisted. It is a tough league. But I also think on the flip side, when you look at Sancho and when you look at Bellingham, they're probably in the squad because they play more because they are abroad. So it all depends on, for me, the media hype. I've not seen one report about Tomori. Not one. But you see all these reports against Sancho. And let's be honest, Sancho is an outstanding talent, but I think he's overhyped. I'll be very interested to see how good he is when he plays in the Premier League, when it's different, because the Premier League is a harder league and more competitive than German league, especially when you're playing for one of the best teams in Germany. If you look at our squad, yes, Foden is playing for one of the best teams in England, and Greenwood, and, you know, Rashford, but Saka doesn't. Maddison didn't when he was in. Grealish doesn't. Calvin Phillips doesn't. Declan Rice doesn't play in. You would say Declan Rice at the moment because they're fifth in the league, but on average, we don't have our players don't always play for the top three teams. One, because there's loads of foreign players in that part of the table, and two, we just, like I said, we don't have enough English players playing for the three top teams in England. So, you know, that's why we have a lot of players who are playing outside the top three. Real captain, I heard Tomori has been bossing it. Listen, he's been outstanding for AC Milan. Absolutely outstanding. But his name's just gone under the radar, which is strange. Hi, Wesley. Hope you well. Thanks for popping in for a quick chat. Ain't seen Southgate abroad watching players. I know we have, you know, Sancho's in the squad, Bellingham's in the squad, we don't, but Tomori, the Trippier's in the squad, and I don't think Trippier should be in the squad. I'm not saying he's been poor, you know, they've done well, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure how often he's been playing. He had a little bit of controversy with the betting scandal, etc., behind him, so I'm not sure whether he should be ahead of the likes of Wan-Bissaka. You've got Kyle Walker, lightning, no one's beating him one-on-one. You've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, who defensively, as we all know, questioned, but ability-wise, one of the best passers, if not the best passers and assist machines in world football from right back. And then if you want someone who's not going to get past no one at all, who is solid, you've got Wan-Bissaka. So you've got three outstanding right backs there, and one of them is not involved. I find it very, very, very strange. A real captain, that's true. You don't see him at any games. Good point, Wesley. Good point. You never, because if he was, you would see in the media that he was at games watching these players. So very, very interesting. Put your 11, what you would put your starting 11 in the comments, which will be magnificent. I'm going to go over mine now. So let's just go over to sharing the screen with all you people. Let's have a look. And I'm going to show you what I think is my what I would go for. Now, they're not going to go for this because England, we're too worried about what the press might say as managers. We're too defensive. We're too negative-minded in the way that we approach football. Our culture, our philosophy has been like that forever. When you think a certain player should play, they never play. When you think a player would cause problems for the opposition, they never play. So the team that I'm going to put up, he's not probably going to be the team that Southgate is going to go for. No question whatsoever. I don't think that, because he's not that positive when it comes to his coaching. So First of all, I think everyone knows who's going to be in goal. Let's be honest. So we know that we're going to go for. Where is he? Let's get rid of that. We're going to go for Jordan Pickford in goal, right? So we're going to go for Pickford in goal. Some people would say Henderson. Now, Henderson has not convinced me at all this year. He has not convinced me at all. He looks shaky. People will talk about he's going to be Man United's #1. He looks shaky. He's not commanding in his box. I'm not too sure that Henderson is going to be the goalkeeper that everyone was saying he was going to be when he had a good loan spell. And that's when people go on loan. We've got this situation with Willock now at Arsenal. When people go on loan and they have a great loan, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to come back and be outstanding for your club. It just means that they've gone out there. They know they need to pull up trumps to try and either get a move a lot of the time or get back into the squad that they've come from or command more wages, etc. So that's when players go on loan. So centre-back, I don't think there's no argument when it comes to centre-backs. John Stones is going to be one of my centre-halves, okay? John Stones is going to be one of my centre-halves. My other centre-half, obviously, for me, without him, Harry Maguire, the fridge. Without him, Man United are shocking. So it shows you how important and how good of a defender he is. And we need him, England, right back. Now, right back, a lot of people that know me are going to know who I'm going to go for, okay? Because for me, a lot of the teams in these competitions, we're going to have control of the game, which means you need players who are very good with the ball. If you're going to have control of the game, best form of defense is possession. So we all know who I'm going to go for. My right back has got to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. 100%. I don't understand where the argument. Kyle Walker, when it comes to we're under pressure, we're probably not going to have a lot of the ball. Kyle Walker is your man for me. No one's going to really get past him. He's quick, he's strong, he's very experienced. But for me, I'll start in 11. If we're going to be playing a team where we're going to be in control, which we are most of the time, then I'm going to go for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Left back, a lot of people know I'm going to go for. Unbelievable this year. Really came back into his form. Luke Shaw, who has been outstanding for me since Mourinho left, because Mourinho basically tried to ruin his career. Quickly, also, real captain's gone for Pickford, Shaw, Maguire, Stones, Alexander-Arnold, Anderson, Bellingham, Rashford, Mount, Foden, and Kane. Nice squad. Nice squad. So in midfield, I'm going to go for Jordan Henderson. Now, I was one of his biggest critics when he came. I thought he was awful for Liverpool for years. But since Klopp has come in, he has made Henderson a world-class player at his job. He's a captain of Liverpool. You don't become the captain of Liverpool if you're not something, I can tell you that. He has driven that team and he's been an outstanding professional. And Jordan Henderson has to start for England for me. Now, this is where it comes a little bit tricky because some people would say, right, how many defensive-minded midfielders are we going to have? Are we going to go for it? Are we going to have 2 defensive midfielders with 1? Or are we going to have a mixture? For me, you know what I'm going to get. You're going to get a mixture. And me, I am definitely starting. He's not even got a picture. Jude Bellingham, definitely starting. I would probably put him on either side, to be honest, maybe the right or the left, but I've just put him in there who's on the left side, but I'll probably put him on the right, okay? So that's what I'm going to go for. And the reason I'm going to go for him is because he's very good at breaking play up and then hitting 10, 20 yards with the ball. We've seen him in the Champions League. We've seen him for Dortmund, but we've got to allow him to express himself. Yes, he sometimes has discipline problems because he wants to win the game. He's so eager. He is young. So it might not be one where you play him every game, but I would definitely 100% start him because he is something that we do not have in the England squad. And he is very good at traveling and breaking the ball down. Very good at breaking the ball down. Let's have a look what Wesley's got to say, attacking team captain. Definitely, 100%. I agree. Henderson has improved, 100%. Wilson does put no chance. Southgate's picked, not a chance. No, he's way too defensive. He'll go with the typical safety team. Yeah, Wesley. Yeah, Wesley. England should put pressure on teams. Exactly. We're better at putting pressure on teams. That's what we're better at. But we don't do that. We invite, and then we concede, and then we come to life, and then we might get a goal. Then we invite and we invite pressure. Sometimes you've got to ease off when a team's better than you, Belgium's, but don't show them too much respect. So I've got Bellingham on one side. Now, this is where it comes a little bit tricky because I am going to play an attacking midfielder here now. And for me, there's been no better attacking midfielder than Mason Mount for Chelsea. I would put him in there because he can do both jobs. He can get forward, but if you ask him to do a defensive job, he has been outstanding for Chelsea this year. He is another one. When Frank was there, a lot of people were coming under pressure. He's only playing because he's Frank's, love child. He shouldn't be playing. Thomas Tuchel left him out. Wasn't long before him straight back in. And he's probably the first name on Thomas Tuchel's, whatever you want to call him, team sheet. So for me, it's Mason Mount. Now, this one's easy. As we know, straight down the middle. We all know who's going to play there. One of the best strikers in the world, if not the best number 9. Not many can complain. Harry Kane. Got to play. Golden boot in the Premier League. Absolutely smashes it. Can get goals for fun. So he's got to play. There's no doubt about that. He has to play. Next up, this is where it becomes tricky with a lot of people. A lot of people would go for Sancho. I don't think that he should be starting ahead of some of the other lads who are playing in the Premier League and tearing the Premier League up, or if not doing well in the Premier League. I'm not saying it's easy to do well at Borussia Dortmund, but it's a lot easier to do better at Borussia Dortmund than it would be when you're playing, a Man United, the pressure's on, and you're away at Newcastle. So on the right, I'm going to go for Marcus Rashford. Quick, great at set pieces. He's not had an amazing season, but internationally, he does well. And I don't think you can look beyond him. Mason Greenwood, I think if I put Mason Greenwood up, I wouldn't say it's inexperienced, but with Mason Greenwood and Bellingham, both very young, 17 and 19. But Mason Greenwood 100% makes the squad because he is an unbelievable talent. And then finally, people would say, who would you play? Some people would say they would play Grealish here. Some people would say they would put Mount there and put Grealish in the middle. But for me, that would be criminal to leave this player out. Phil Foden is the closest thing to a top Spanish player in the England squad. He's the only player in this squad who plays the foreign way. And there's no surprise that they were never going to let him go. And Pep came and they have groomed this kid to be an unbelievable talent. His first touch, his vision, his balance, the way that he beats players is the best for a young kid I have seen in years, if not over a decade. He is phenomenal, this kid. Absolutely phenomenal. So that is my 4-3-3. There's no way that's going to happen. As we know, they're going to be very, very defensive. For some reason, my comments are not coming up again. It does do this. So I'm going to stop the screen sharing, get myself back on the screen, quickly reload this screen. Oh, no, we're back on. I've got the comments. So what's happening, Layla? Thank you for popping in. Really do appreciate it. Godfrey deserves to be in the England team. Yeah, I didn't mention Godfrey, actually, because Godfrey's another one who's brand new in the squad. Him and White. I don't think White should be in it, and I don't think Cody should be in it. I think Tomori should be in it. But yeah, Godfrey's been outstanding this season. Let's be honest. A lot of people question when he came from Norwich, but he's very versatile. He's very quick. He's decent on the ball, and he is a threat eerily. So yeah, very good addition, and I think he should stay in and around the squad when they cut it over, a White or a Cody, even though I don't think White will make the final squad. But it is good for him to be involved because White is a very good player. Bellingham should come to Arsenal. Listen, you ain't leaving Borussia Dortmund to come to Arsenal. I can tell you that. No way are you doing that. He'll go to one of the big three if he goes anywhere. But for me, best for Bellingham to stay in Dortmund for another 2 years at least, get himself established, and then you never know. A Madrid, a Barca, a Bayern Munich could easily go in for Jude. Depends whether he wants to come back to the UK. Godfrey is really good, had a great season. Yeah, deserves it. If we're going to go on form, he definitely deserves it. Mount is amazing, man. His energy. Yeah, you need him. You need him. He's no wonder he's one of the first on the team sheet when it comes to Chelsea's team, because not only is he good on the ball, his energy. I remember watching him because I'm very close with a kid called Jan Danda who was at Liverpool, and they're very, very similar. And it was always between Jan and Mason Mount who would play. And obviously at the time, I was a little bit biased towards Jan. He's now at Swansea, unbelievable player, but for whatever reason, he's not playing regular at Swansea. But talent-wise, phenomenal. Went to Liverpool from West Brom at like 14. Everybody tried to sign him, went to Liverpool in the end. But used to see Mason Mount quite a lot in the 15s and 16s of the England. And he was very small, very light, but technically he was awesome. And for him to be where he is now, for me, is phenomenal. And his work rate, his energy, his willingness to want to win is unreal. Mount is player of the season at Chelsea. Yeah, I think he is. He's definitely player of the season. I think he's been unbelievable. Sterling, I'll bet. Yeah, Sterling's had one of those seasons where you know he's going to be involved because rightly so, his experience and the way that he's been for England, I think he needs to be involved and he might get form. However, his form this year has been really off, and you can't have off form when it comes to City because Pep has got 4 or 5 other players behind you waiting to get in, and that's with Sterling. And that's why, for me, you've got to give so much credit to Foden, because Foden will, when he plays for Man City, he will be playing with so much pressure, knowing he's got 3 other players behind him who could take his place. And I remember when I was playing, when you've got that in the back of your mind, you actually are fearful and you freeze and you don't attempt things because you're worried about you not playing next game. Foden don't have that. And at Man City, to not have that mentality and just say, I'm just going to play my game and not worry about everyone else. And he's the reason that Sterling has not been playing for Man City. And Sterling has really, really lost form. But in a way, I think Sterling has to go just because of his experience. And we all know he will still cause problems for a lot of defenders. Sterling could start. I'm not 100% sure whether he'll start. Be interesting to see if he does start. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. But I think, like you say, he'll probably start him. I think he'll start Kyle Walker, Stones, Maguire, the usual ones. Most of the team that we've mentioned that would start, I think that he would start them as well. Like we said, 3 teenagers in the squad. Bellingham 17, Saka and Greenwood both 19. I think Foden's only 20. Very inexperienced. But Gareth Southgate says that we have a squad to win the Euros. He has to think that. He has to believe that. But whether he will make the right selections to fit this as a puzzle, I am not 100% sure. I'm disappointed Tomori is not in the squad, especially a 33-man. I'm disappointed Wan-Bissaka is not in the squad because those two are better than what's ahead of them, better than Trippier, better than Connor Cody, better than White. So I'm very, very surprised about that. Maddison doesn't deserve to be in it, in my opinion. And neither does Eric Dyer, because he should not have been in the last one. Layla, what are your thoughts on Godfrey this season? Well, Godfrey, I don't know him personally, but he has the same agent as Mason Holgate, who is again at Everton, and they both have the same agent. When he come in, obviously Mason was ahead of him at the time. Mason's had a very indifferent season. I think the season's caught up with Mason, and he's been very versatile. He's played left, he's played right, he's played in a 3. He had the bad injury, and just before that injury, there was a big rumor that obviously he was going to be in the last England squad, Mason Holgate, because Southgate really, really likes him, but he's lost form. And when he's lost form, Godfrey has picked up, and Godfrey did struggle at first, but he has been excellent this season, I've got to be honest. And I think he does deserve to be in the England squad, most definitely, because he gives many different options. And when you go into a tournament That's the key. You need players who can give you different options. So when it comes to selecting your 11 or selecting your squad, you need to make sure that people can play in different areas and bring you different aspects and qualities to your squad. So sometimes when you look at a squad, you say, well, why is he in that squad and why he isn't? It's down to, does he fit in a certain way or a squad? It's a tournament. It's not a one-off game. It's a tournament. So it has to be spread out over, 3-4 weeks to win it. It has to be very diversified. Wesley's stated, we have a squad to win the Euros, but we don't have the manager. Yeah, you got a good point. We've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He did reach the semis, which he's done a lot better than a lot of England managers. The youth do like him. Don't get me wrong. The youth do like him. He seems to get a lot of respect from the players that he's had. And we're never going to, let's put it this way, we're never going to, a little bit like Arsenal, we're never going to appoint a manager who is ruthless and goes against the way the FA is. It's a very protected kind of you do as I say arena. Later again, where's Bamford? You're not going to get Bamford. You know why you're not going to get Bamford in? Because if Kane gets injured, they're probably going to play Ollie Watkins. I would have gone for Danny Ings. So you can't have two players who do the same kind of jobs. Bamford and Kane, for me, do the same job. You couldn't play Bamford out wide. You couldn't play him as a 10. Whereas Kane, you can play him not really out wide, but you can mixture up. Bamford's not as good as Kane coming to the ball, but there is a case for him. I just think he's too similar to Kane, but not as good, in my opinion. And then again, what are your thoughts on Neves being available 35? You got to snap him up. Absolute snap him up. There's some players out there at the minute, going back to domestic, that are, Pereira at West Brom is a steal at 25 million. A steal. Neves, a steal at 35 million. A steal. These players are phenomenal for me, what I've seen footballing-wise. Absolutely phenomenal. Captain Bumhole, what's going on? Hope you well. What a crazy name. Yeah, glad that you popped in. I really appreciate that you've subbed. All the support is excellent. Big up to yourself. F3, man, always rated what you've had to say on Curtis's show. Glad I've subbed. Yeah, really do appreciate it. I know me and Curtis, we spoke this morning. We're going to get quite a bit more together, me and Curtis, because we've known each other a long time, from the same city, both played together for a little bit. So me and Kurt are going to collab quite a bit, and we're going to go a little bit deeper when it comes to, sometimes what's it like in the industry of football? What's it like? There's a lot of youth team players at the moment. They've just been released from these clubs and their dream has been crushed. Where do they go next? So that's the kind of content we want to bring, because you just don't get a lot of that on YouTube at all. Real Captain, Bamford does lack a bit of pace, but really good player. Yeah, I think he's an outstanding player. And he got questioned about the Premier League. I was one of them. Didn't think he'd do as well. But again, he's in a team who create chances. It's very important as a centre forward, you play for a team who creates chances. And again, Real Captain, Ings, plenty of injuries, unfortunately. Yeah, I think that major injury during the season really, really cost him, because for me, he would have been in the squad. And I'm no surprise that Man City weren't linked with him, because you think if they got him, I don't know, maybe they bought him for 35 million. He's about 27, 28, get 3 good years out of him. He's quick. He's on the shoulder. So do they need to go and spend 100 million on a Kane or 100 million on Haaland? Man City don't need to do that. If Danny Ings stayed fit, Danny Ings would score you 25 goals, 30 goals maybe even for City. So I can see why they went for him. Yeah, my name's a madness, but you have great content, Deadly Duo. Yeah, it is a madness, but yeah, appreciate the comments and appreciate you popping in. So that is my view when it comes to my opinion on the England squad. Not a lot of surprises. As I've stated, a couple of surprises. I think people were thinking Maddison was going to be in it. Eric Dyer's out of it, but it's not such a big surprise. But for me, no Wan-Bissaka, no Tomori. It is a little bit surprising to me. But there's some great talent in there. Can they win it? I think they've got a good enough squad to win it, but will an experienced team, outthink us, outmaneuver us, tactically, will they outdo us because we have a lot of inexperienced players in this squad? I put my 11 up, as I said earlier. So if you didn't check that out, just rewind this video and have a quick look at my starting 11 that I would go for. I'm actually going to put it up again one more time for you to see my starting 11. So here is my starting 11. It's going to be Pickford, 2 centre-half, Stones, Maguire, left-back Shaw, right-back Trent Alexander-Arnold, Henderson holding a little bit, Bellingham up and down, Mount up and down, Kane straight down the middle, Foden, best young talent we've seen in this country for decades, in my opinion. On the left, who can come in, could put him on the right and could come and use his left. And then Rashford on the other side. That's my starting 11. It's never going to be that starting 11 because we just do not have the minerals from the camp and the FA to make sure that we do that. Will we see these players in the squad? Yes, we will. Will we see these players play some part in the Euros? I am 100% sure. It is set up for someone to be a superstar. Let's hope that after such a terrible 12 months with regards to everyone having lockdown, everyone dealing with the mental side of things, that the England team can come and bring us something which we'll be all proud about, and then look forward to the Premier League next year. That is me done for the England roundup. I really do appreciate everyone tuning in. If you are watching this video after, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. If you're in here now and you haven't, share this video. I really do appreciate it. We're going to try and do daily content now. So a little daily vibe with me, FG, a little bit of news, a little bit of chat, obviously helps people get through the day. Not sure what time, but I'll get a thumbnail up as much as possible, as quick as possible to give you so much time. Good show, bro. Good always to talk sense. Really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate the love. And I will see you tomorrow morning. You take care.